There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name. Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino Is the Name, and on this video, I have my brother Ski with me, and we're gonna talk about transitioning from the streets to government contracts. Okay, so me and him, we grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. Been through a lot of crazy stuff growing up. Yeah. You want to tell them where you're from? Like more details about Tallahassee, specifically where you from?
Well, I'm from North Side. Section 8 projects called Joe Louis. Well, it's on Joe Louis Street.
Yeah.
But it's called Springfield Apartment, Joe Louis.
Yeah.
If you from Tallahassee, you know.
1700?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. So, which we were kind of surrounded by, it's really like 3 projects in the area because we had Basin Street, 4th Ave, and Joe Louis, like right there. Right. So, we got a lot of friends from the projects, basically. And you want to tell them a little bit like what it was like kind of growing up?
Well, it was, for me.
Yeah. It's still crazy.
I mean, it's kind of like what you would typically go through in the hood. It was a little extreme, ain't gonna lie. I grew up, my mom was on drugs, so
yeah,
that kind of made it. There was a setback from the beginning.
From the beginning,
and
from
my
the
dad
jump.
Being young, single dad, young with all those kids, it was just like, he did what he could do.
Yeah,
he did what he could do.
So, all right, so now,
yep,
this transition that we going through, what made you decide you wanted to change up? Want to do something different?
Well, the streets, you got a time limit. You know what I'm saying? It's really a get in and get out of business. The ones who do have longevity, it ain't no longevity in the streets, man. No. That's basically what it is. At some point, you got to make a change, or the change gonna be made for you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's really where my name comes from, casino. Mm-hmm. Because the rules of a casino is you play against the house long enough, you always lose.
Facts.
Right? Yeah. So I saw people go through high school, go off to college. They didn't like going to college for whatever reason. Maybe they was the man of their high school, but when they got to college, they decided everybody the man here, from their high school and who made it this far. So they end up back on their street in their hometown, and then they want to get in the streets, for the first time. Or maybe they dabbled a little bit, but then they decided to get in that end, and then they end up getting locked up, or something else happened, something worse. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like one of those things, like eventually, if you stay out here long enough, even if I've seen 60-year-old people who get busted for the first time, So, it's if you stay out here long enough, the rules are, the odds are against you, right? So that was one of the reasons why I named myself Casino, because I'm the house, not
bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Really, it's the streets just changed so much, man. It's like it used to be an honor even amongst thieves, where like it was a code, an unwritten code, where certain lines wouldn't be crossed. But now, man, these people, you can't. It's really hard to trust anybody from whether they'll cross you out, whether they'll tell on you. So, it's got a time limit in the streets, man. You gotta work your niche and get out of there.
Yeah, and then we got kids, right? So even beyond ourselves, we want to make that change, because none of us want our kids to grow up in the kind of conditions we came up in, boy. So
it's a fact.
Yeah, we all want our kids to do better than us. So, all right. So, how did you stumble across government contracts?
Well, like you say, we've been down for a long time. We teenagers, man.
Teenagers, yeah.
I don't want to say my age. My beard probably short, but we've been, so that's just listen to, keep your ear to the streets and tap in what's going on with your friends, man, and bro put me on opportunity and just running with it. Yeah,
and what's really good about like Ski is like, a lot of people think that just because somebody from the streets or somebody from the hood, like, we have a bad work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like, we hard workers, bro. We work crazy hard. Like, even myself, people see like me as an accountant and like, oh, you probably don't like to get your hands dirty. I don't like to get my hands dirty, but I come from hard work, so I ain't tripping. Like, I get out there, put some gloves on, because right now we working on construction, and that ain't what my role is. But if need be, I roll my sleeves up. But I knew for a fact, because I done seen this man work so hard in his life, I can put a house on him, you know what I'm saying? He gonna go out there and do what it do. So, you know, he's somebody that I would trust to come on a project with me, because I can't trust everybody that I grew up with, you know, that I came up around or whatever, to come out and work like that. But I know this guy right here, he gonna have my back the way I'm gonna have his back. And so, all right, so you found government contracts kind of through through brotherhood. Yeah. So, okay, so now that you kind of have seen some of the things or been exposed to some of the people who you've been exposed to, what kind of things have they been telling you? Because me bringing him in, he got a chance to meet other people who are already doing government contracts, who are much further along than I am. Right. So
it just, you know what you know what I mean? So that's, if this is a world that I didn't even know existed. Maybe like 6-7 months ago. What was that when we started the other one? That was 6-7 months ago.
Yeah, that was like the end of November.
I ain't even know this world existed. And then like to see how much money you can play with. What we think is a lot of money to them is chump change. To like really like.
Yeah. We looking at a couple $100,000 like, man, that's crazy. They looking like, man, I wouldn't do that for that. You know?
In the streets, you can't play with nobody couple $100,000. You can't even play with a couple thousand. Yeah. So to have this kind of money, playing with this type of money is just crazy.
Yeah, and you know, as a total, you know, with the group, as far as the group, you know, we over $1 million in 11 months, you know, so that's, you know, that's crazy. And
that's like,
I mean, as far as
change to them.
Now we haven't accumulated the full amount, but as far as in contracts locked in, that's on the paper, we just got to do the work. We secured over $1 million in contracts. So, but yeah, to know that you also ain't got to take those kind of penitentiary chances and things like that, because we definitely know people who've been in prison close, you know, in the household with us, you know.
Right.
That have been in prison and stuff like that. So, you know, we're just trying to stay out of the way and finding a better way for our kids. Because you know what's even crazier is the kind of money you can make doing government contracts is kind of what really push people into like from where we from. Because, you know, in the mindset is none of us want to make $20,000 a year. Right. We can't survive off $20,000 a year. You know what I mean? So when you and like many of us may not be may not have a college degree. So it's like, if you don't have a college degree, you got to have a CDL or do something to try to get this kind of money that, you know, that's at least livable. But doing government contracts, you'll be a CEO. You don't need a degree for that, you know? Right. And if I'm a CEO and I got a contract that's, you know, $3 million, and I can say, hey, bro, I need you to come over here. I know what you're capable of. You know, maybe I got to send you to training. But we can do that now. Yeah. We can, you know, we can afford to send you to a class. We can afford to, you know, to develop those skill sets so that, you know, he can go out there and, you know, I can pay him $300,000 for a job.
It also puts you in the ownership position where it's like, even if you don't know how to do the work, you're in a position to subcontract it now.
Yeah, facts. Because I don't know half the stuff that they are doing right now. You know what I'm saying?
A real boss.
That's not what my position is. But you know, I'm gonna find somebody who can do it. You know. Yeah. But I just mean like, even if, let's say, my people don't even have those skills yet to do a certain job, you know, they can develop those skills, you know, later on. That's some of the things that I'm thinking about when I need to transition you from maybe a foreman to like a project manager, you know, or somebody who may be working in my finance side or whatever, you know. That's if he doesn't go ahead and break off and go do his own thing, you know, because that's what the whole point is, for all of us to grow to a point, you know, where they can go do their own thing, and hopefully he can bring some contracts my way, I can bring some contracts his way, and we can swap work, kind of what me and Stormy doing now, you know. Yeah. But worst case scenario, because I've had usually like at least 2 people was like, they don't even care to own their own company. They'll rather just let me get the contracts and they'll just work inside of there, and that's cool too. Work too. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and that's cool too. But I can try to develop my team, my immediate circle from, you know, from where we are now to able to be good supervisors and stuff like that, you know. So that kind of thing. You definitely
want to have knowledgeable people and hard-working people on your staff.
Yeah,
that's the number one thing. I mean, the company is only as good as the people that work for it.
Facts.
So
they say you're the strongest, your weakest link.
yeah, so if you have a good team of people, you know, it alleviates some of your concerns. If you don't, you're gonna be stressed out.
Yeah.
So that's another part of it too, man.
Yeah. And like how he was saying, you know, even if you don't know the work, I mean, you don't know how to do the job. Like I said, if it's a plumbing, I don't know why I always use plumbing for an example, but it might be a contract for plumbing.
Trade,
and it may not be something you license for or even have that much knowledge, but you can bring somebody else in. You know, you lock the contract in and outsource the work to them and, you know, pay them and you make a little profit on top of that. So, yeah.
Profitable business, man. Then it's something you can teach your kids. Like, so you have to, like, I think everything is changing. The traditional, you have to go to school, go to college, get a degree, get into a field. I think it's changing. I think entrepreneurship is big in this new generation. Yeah. And it give your kids opportunity to have a head start, you know. I'm learning this in my late 30s. My daughters, I can pass this to them. Like, I go home and talk to them about this stuff, so by the time my daughter graduated high school, she'll be in a position to be a boss. Yeah,
you hear him, he telling his age right now.
Yeah.
And him telling his age is telling my age. So, but yeah, you're right. And you know, I talk to my son, if you ask him about set-asides and things like that, you might not want to press the cord. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so I talked to my son about set-asides and government contracts and stuff like that. He could tell you all about it. If you ask him now, he'll probably say he wants to be an accountant when he grows up. I didn't even know what an accountant was when I grew up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Setting the generation up for success.
Yeah. But you know, also what you just said about this generation seems to be entrepreneurial minded. Mm-hmm. My grandfather generation was entrepreneurial minded.
I think it's coming back. Yeah, you're right.
So it's kind of like, it's weird, right? Because it's like, it feels like a new thing, but it's really an old thing.
Because it wasn't our generation. Our generation
or
wasn't.
Our parents.
Our generation was the go to college generation. Yeah. I feel like, you know, it was either streets, ball, college. But these kids, it's so many different ways to become a millionaire. Now like we didn't have social media as a whole to create a whole new wave of millionaires.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? So I think being a boss and doing stuff their way means a lot to them. So you know, you might see a lot more entrepreneurs coming out of this generation.
Definitely. Sure. I'm telling you.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And especially with the way a lot of this stuff is being pushed, it's almost like you ain't got no choice. Because even if you have a job, right? Let's say you have a job, you make $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, but you Ubering on the side. You're technically an entrepreneur. You know, you have a side hustle. Your side hustle is, if you're making money from it, it's a business. Mm-hmm. So whether or not you're delivering packages or whatever else when you get off work, or if that's your main thing, you're an entrepreneur. You're technically working for yourself, at least to a point. So
it's the flexibility.
It's crazy.
Like, it give you more. It give you way more flexibility. You know what I mean? Like, even doing the contract, and it's like we have guidelines we have to go by, but you pretty much set your own hours. So you're not working directly for someone.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you a little bit more freedom, you know.
Exactly.
Than the traditional 9 to 5. You would make that $40,000 a year, but how much of your time you gave up to make it?
Right.
It don't balance out.
It don't. It don't balance it out at all.
You can create some good work-life balance too if you're able to.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I had a micro contract, and it was for $2,900, right? And we had to remove some hazardous material, right?
Right.
And so it was 3 of us, and it was a lot of bags. It was a lot of bags, but it took us 3 hours to do it.
Not bad,
right? And I paid them
$3,000. That's almost $1,000 an hour.
So I paid. That's where I'm going to go. So I paid them $225 a piece, right? And I kept the $2,450, right? So I was making over $800 an hour for those 3 hours. It's crazy, and I can't. So of course, when I look at $20 an hour or $15 an hour, you know that one day, it was one day where we signed off a lot of. I ain't gonna say what we had to do, but a lot of the things that we had to clear, the spaces we had to clear in the other building.
Right.
I want to talk about it, say what it was in detail. But that one day, we cleared 3 of those spaces and some change or something. We made $17,000 that one day.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that check for that month was $94,000. which allowed me to help take care of the whole team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But those kind of things, you're definitely not looking at it from an hourly standpoint. You know?
Yeah, it's harder. It gets harder to go back to hourly and punching the clock when you're doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
But like the flexibility, man.
Yeah, and I can't wait for my brother Ski. You know what I'm saying? Get his multi-million-dollar contract, so I can say, "Hey, bro, shoot me some, bro."
It's coming soon.
It's
man.
coming soon.
We're definitely working, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I'm excited to be a part of.
Yeah.
Excited to grow in. You know,
Yeah.
you put the work in like with anything though. It doesn't come easy. I'm not gonna say
No.
it's easy. It comes with challenges.
Yeah.
Anything worth working is worth having.
First of all,
Worth having is worth working hard.
even this contract we on now,
Yeah.
it's like an $800,000 contract. Materials is like $500, but it's still like they threw that to us.
Yeah, and it's the amount of time too. You know,
Yeah.
we think about $300K in 3 months. Like,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah, but they threw it to us, and it's like, you know, I don't know what we got to figure it out, you know. So, but you could do this, and it could be crazy, you know.
Don't want to turn no money down.
No.
Like, you say from transitioning from the streets to this. If you're in the streets, somebody tell you, "Yo, I got $800,000 for you to do this." If you don't know how to do it, you gonna figure it out. You gonna figure it out.
Yeah, we gonna figure it out.
For $800K.
Bro, I don't care what it is, I can do it.
Yeah, it's like outside of, as long as it's within my morals.
Yeah.
It ain't too much shit I won't do.
Yeah.
I can't curse, but
Yeah, you can.
it ain't too much
we
stuff I
could.
won't do for $800,000, man. That's just keep it a bean.
Yo, that should be the title. Ain't much I won't do for $800,000.
Ain't too much I won't do for $800K. As long as it's within my morals, yeah.
Legally.
If it's within my morals,
Now, what's crazy is
all my morals intact, bro, $800K is what we got to do.
what's crazy is coming from the street world, right?
Yeah.
It almost ain't nothing we want.
That's what,
you know.
that's why I'm saying. That's what
way.
I'm saying about morals.
The
It's
fact that
like,
we done
as long as I'm not doing nothing, well, I'm gonna
crazy.
wake up tomorrow feeling bad about it. As long as my morals in check, it's not too much I want to do for $800K, man.
Yeah, and now you ain't even got to take them kind of penitentiary chances and make that. And that's
You see
they
the
say
thing about it,
that's entry
too,
level.
You have to
that's
be
the bottom.
You have to be real with yourself too, man. It's like when I was younger, I was taking more risks. I had a lot less to lose, but now I got way too much to lose, man. I'm gonna just keep it real. I can't do 10, 20 years in prison right now.
Got
Take
kids,
10,
boy.
20 years from my kids.
Crazy.
And that mean the world to me. So, you know, I'd rather struggle for a period and get it right than take all those type of risks and do something that'll take me away from my family. So that's really what it boils down to at the end of the day, man. It's the streets change, man. It's a new generation of kids that have no respect for the rules and the way things go. So, you know, I'm not. It's a young man game too. The streets a young man sport.
Definitely,
it's a young man sport, man. So
they can go do 10, 20.
The young kids ain't got no
they'll
respect.
still be our age.
They can do for real.
They can do 20. You 18. You can do 20. Come home, be back.
I'm too old to do a dub, man. I might not have a dub left in me, so I gotta go. I gotta go for what I know right now.
Yeah. So, but you know, doing this, I want y'all to take a good look. This is the future of government contracting. This is what the future of government contracting looks like.
We in there.
We found a new way.
They don't like it, man.
You know
I'm gonna tell you, all of these folks don't like it, man. When they see your face and you look like we look, and you come from where we come from, man. It's they try to make it a little bit harder for you, but it's possible, man.
Yeah, you remember? Possible. So we were on the elevator, and the elevator opened up. And we got a full black crew, dreads, everything, and so we had two security guards escorting us around because everybody didn't have a ID yet to move around in the facility. And we come down on the elevator, and the elevator opens up. This lady who's working there, she sees the elevator open up and she screams, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know what was going on. I'm sorry. I'll wait on the next one." So, but she screamed, And that was like our first week, I think, up in there. So it was like they had to get used to us. And once they got used to us and stuff, it was cool. Everybody want to be our friends and stuff like that. SESs and all. But at the time, though, you know, we were kind of setting a new standard for what you might see walking around. You know, just they see the dreads. Hey, that don't mean nothing bad.
Even the contract we're on now, man, it's like,
yeah,
it's a big time construction contract. Yeah. We're the only black folks on this entire project. They got maybe 3 or 4 different crews that work for a larger construction company, but our crew, all blacks, the only black people on this entire contract. Yeah. So that's
saying something,
you know. And we all look like us.
I'm talking about dreads and all. You feel me? I got to go in there like this because of them. You know, I gotta.
And they're assuming because we look like that, we want to get clearance. It's like a lot of stuff you got to deal with, but. Yeah, we here though.
We here.
Get
it's
off
up.
Of it.
It's up. It's up. So don't think that you couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Definitely.
And there's plenty of different types of contracts. I know everybody may not have a clear background, but that's okay too because it's contracts that don't care if you have a good background or not. And even just to win the contract, you can have a messed up background, win a contract that requires you have to have a good background. But you don't have to go do the work. You can outsource the work to somebody else. Right. You can just win the contract and hire the person who can get on the place.
I think it's definitely a loophole for people with a background. You know, just partner with somebody with a clean background. Yeah. And that'll eliminate a lot of that. Well that's one way, but you know, there's the 8A actually wants you to be, it says you need to be economically disadvantaged. So if you're economically disadvantaged, one way to be economically disadvantaged is to be an ex-con. Yeah, that's crazy.
And they
see, that's a loophole right there. Ex-con. You don't have to worry about finding work, create work.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of my brother's an ex-felon. And that's a lot of the things that they always say, like, you know, we can't find work. Don't find it, create it, man. That's why a lot of ex-felons are small business owners, man. Because when you're most of the felons I know come from like drug felons. So they already had a hustle in them. Yeah. If you can sell drugs, man, you could, come on, we talk about corporate white people. If you can survive the streets, this is nothing.
Nothing. Telling you.
This is nothing. They already intimidated. So it's nothing, man. Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to come on here, you know what I'm saying, with my brother Ski and kind of just talk about that and, you know, see what he thought about everything as far as, you know, contracts and stuff like that now that he is officially.
Going up, man.
Yeah.
We're going up, buddy.
Yeah. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino is the name. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram @King Casino and the number 1. We out. Beat me up, Scotty. Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name.